Okay, so welcome to the third instalment of Seasonal Approach. It's summertime now, we're a couple of days from August, so the fish have completely stopped spawning now. It's been on and off the last sort of 6 weeks or so, but it seems like they've got it out of their system now and they're starting to get their heads down. You join me down here at Stanwick Lake Fisheries on Elson's Lake. It is a day ticket fishery. I don't come here often, but I am here for filming purposes. My girlfriend Sarah, she's come along as well for the social. So hopefully Sarah and I are going to catch a few over the next couple of nights. But yeah, it's looking good out here. The other lads have pulled off, so I'm going to crack on now and start getting the rods out because I'm itching to go. All right, good night. Basically, this lake is full of blanket weed. It's quite a shallow lake, and there are some spots out there which create a bit of a depression, so they do go down a bit deeper. But I'm not too interested in looking for those clear spots. I'm going to fish out. I'm going to go all out, sort of fishing into the weed, and just sort of fish over a spread of boilie and maybe some bigger pellets. I mean, they absolutely love pellet in the edge on this lake. You can really get them going on the pellets in close. So I brought some big 14mm halibut pellets with me as well, which I thought would be a good addition using alongside the boilies and just sort of pulting them out around the marker float, creating a nice spread of bait. And yeah, I don't feel the need to sort of lead around too much because, like I just said, I'm not going to be spot fishing. I just want to find some weed, pop the float up, maybe have two spots, two areas out here. Not too sure. I might just bait the one spot and fish 2 rods on that, but maybe keep some bait going in, maybe to the left of the swim, and then just fish that as and when I feel, you know, it's ready to be fished. When, you know, once I see some activity over it, fizzing, showing. And then I'm going to have another rod in close in the swim next door. They do like patrolling in short along that bank, and there is some weed up on the surface in there as well. So I might need to rake a little bit of an area just to get my line down. But yeah, I don't want to do too much disturbance. Yeah, so I think get some bait out, let it rest for an hour or so, have a quick walk round the lake. Going to go and bait up a couple of other close-in spots just with some small pellets. And maybe come back to that spot later in the afternoon or tomorrow. So yeah, got plenty of options for this trip. The lake, like I said, the lake is relatively quiet, so we're going to be able to move about and see if we can catch some of these nice carp in here. Okay, so I'm just going to run you through the bait that I've got for this session. Yeah, so I've got 3 buckets here. I've kept them all separate because, well, I've actually been soaking these boilies overnight in different liquids. So I've got the Monster Tiger Nut liquid over the Tiger Nut, along with some water just to help soften the baits overnight and really draw in that liquid. So they're nice and really soft now. Yeah, they're perfect. And the complex tea in here, using a new hydrolyzed salmon liquid, which is soon to be released by Dynamite, I believe. Absolutely stinks, this stuff, and have used it a bit recently and have done quite well on it. So yeah, again, just added some water into the bucket to help wash out the baits and again really draw in that liquid. So I'm going to fish the boilies over, I'm going to mix the boilies over both spots or both areas where I've chosen to fish. I just like to keep them separate for now because, as I said, you know, they have got different liquids on. And the pellet, I just thought the 14mm halibuts will really contribute nicely using alongside with the boilies. It's not something I've done too much of, and I haven't seen many other anglers fish this way before. I know pellets get used a lot sort of in the edge, sort of close in, or pellets get used a lot more in large quantities, but in much smaller sizes. So yeah, I think it's going to be a nice mix of boilie and larger pellets out on top of that weed. Yeah, I think it's going to work quite nicely together. Okay, so we're into the evening now. There's only a couple of hours of light left, and what I've decided to do, I'm going to bring this rod in and move it with the other 2 rods because I've already been wiped out by this swan despite trying to get my line down through the weed. He's already been through the line, and I don't want to risk that happening overnight time. Still going to fish out this way, may fish a little bit longer. I don't think the fish have been getting in close today along this bank. So yeah, I'm gonna wind it in now and cast it out a little bit longer from the other swim and get a bit of bait around it. Good morning, it's about 6 o'clock now, It was very quiet last night, not had any bites yet. A little bit surprised. Kind of thought they'd have been a bit more switched on to the bait. But yeah, it's been very quiet so far. Although they have just started to liven up a bit. Been a few shows just beyond the spot, and I have just recently seen a little bit of fizzing coming up over one of the rods. So I'm still hopeful of a bite this morning, but it's certainly been a tricky session so far. But yeah, I think we're coming into the best period now, so hopefully it won't be too long before one of these rods rattle off. But yeah, I do love this sort of time in the morning. You know, there's quite a bit of anticipation when you're seeing them showing. There have been quite a few just below the surface as well. There's been a few bow waves, but there's definitely a few fish down there rooting around in that weed. But yeah, I'm going to stay optimistic, and if nothing does happen, I'll reassess and redo the rods a bit later on this morning. Probably concentrate my rods a bit more central of the swim where they've been showing, and fizzing up a little bit over the middle rod, just to give myself a better chance of hopefully picking up a bite. I was just going to get my head back down for an hour or two, as I've been up since about 4:45 this morning, and finally one of the rods has gone. It's about 8:30 now. It's the right hand rod that I repositioned yesterday evening, and yeah, it's just pulled up tight. I have seen it. It doesn't look very big, but it's definitely a start of hopefully things to come now. Net myself. That's all right, it's a nice little mirror. Didn't put as much bait over this rod compared to the other two. They definitely don't seem to be overly switched on to feeding at the moment. There, we got him. But strangely, I hadn't seen any activity this morning over this rod. It had all been out there. Hadn't seen anything over here where I'd positioned this rod. But yeah, I'm happy. Got off the mark at last. So give him a rest for a few minutes, and I'll get him out to show you. Well, here he is. Nice start to the session. Certainly made me wait for this one, but yeah, got off the mark, and hopefully he'll be one of a few today. But yeah, we'll see how the rest of the day goes. So it's sort of around mid-morning now, about 10 o'clock. And what I've decided I'm going to do is, based on the activity that I've seen this morning out in front of me, I'm going to keep to the same area, because I do suspect there may have been a bit of feeding going on. But I'm just going to put 2 rods onto that area now. I'm going to bring this rod in as well and redo it. Maybe just catapult a few more baits out there and yeah, see if we can get this spot going, because there's definitely fish still out here. And I think if I get 2 rods on it, freshen things up a bit, I think hopefully at some point this afternoon could hopefully get this spot going. I think I've seen enough. I need to get a couple of rods and get round here as soon as possible, I think. It's definitely an opportunity. Jesus. God. That was unreal. That's the rod that I put in really close, just down this right-hand side. Wow. I was just thinking about putting this rod out a bit further. I'm so glad I didn't. God, Jesus, it's got some power. Caught up on a branch. It's not good. Yes, come out. Okay. Okay, he's not a big one, but I still like to land him. God, God, that was a bit of a buzz. That didn't take long at all. But it really can pay off this time of year to go looking around the lake, because you will find opportunities. God, my heart's pumping. Yeah, that was just on a little, that was on the spinner rig, that one. Over about five baits. You never know, there might be another chance yet. Okay, so here's the second one of the trip. He's similar to the one I had this morning, but yeah, just glad to have got another bite today. Yeah, having that lap round this afternoon and finding a few fish about in this corner on the end of the wind paid off quite quickly to get round here and flick a couple of rods in, which has turned out to be quite a productive day in the end. So yeah, really looking forward to going into the evening, and hopefully there may be one or two more in it before we head home tomorrow. So I've just got 2 rods out in this swim now. I've just underarm flicked them sort of as far as I could hand throw some bait, because I haven't got my catapult, but there's been a couple of shows quite close in anyway. One has just shown since I've had the rods in, and yeah, it's a little bit behind where I'd casted, but yes, it's a good sign. I think what I've decided to do for the night, it's a bit of effort because it's sort of just gone 7 o'clock in the evening now, and I'm going to give these rods at least half an hour. But yeah, once I wind these rods in, I'm going to head back round to the other side and pack all my kit up and actually move round here. I just feel like it's not really happening for me in that other swim, although I had that one this morning. You know, there's not many anglers on, there's 5 of us on, but 4 of us are along that bank, and this bank's had no line pressure for a couple of days. So yeah, I feel like it's worth giving it a go. Yeah, hopefully I can get it all done before dark. It's going to be a bit of a rush, but you know, if you want to catch carp, you've got to, you know, put the effort in and make decisive decisions. I feel like it's a good decision. So yeah, quite hopeful of some more action. Maybe not through the night, but certainly into the morning and into the early afternoon if we decide to stay as long as that. But yeah, just sit it out for another 25 minutes, and then get the kit round here, get the barbecue on because we're all starving hungry. Got some burgers, and yeah, chill out for the evening. Well, good morning again. It's the second morning and we're actually into the dying hour of our session. We need to be off here by midday. Unfortunately, there are no other fish to report as of yet, but I'm still living in hope for one last bite. But just to sum up what's happened since yesterday evening, I did move round to this bank and it was all looking promising with the fish showing yesterday evening. Yeah, just into dark after I got the rods out, I'd actually attracted a load of swans over with their cygnets and they started bombarding the bait that I'd put out. Eventually they did scare off, but they returned again this morning. So yeah, I've been up early again and spent the last couple of hours having to redo rods, moving rods about. But yeah, it's proven to be a pretty difficult couple of days over here. But hopefully there is going to be one more chance. I have come back into this corner and had a look where I caught that one yesterday afternoon. And I have seen one fish come right in close. And since putting the rods out, I have seen a little bit of disturbance out there. So hopefully I can just nick one more and yeah, wrap up this session and get out of it. Well, unfortunately, it's not taking long for the swans to find these two rigs that I just put out. Yeah, it's been the story of the morning really. They've been wiping me out constantly this morning. It's been really frustrating. You know, the trip as a whole has been really tricky. The fish have definitely played hard to get. But you know, that is carp fishing. You know, it can't always be good. But yeah, you know, I wouldn't change anything. I've done really well on the tactics that I've used this session. But yeah, you know, sometimes the fish just aren't having it as they are other times. But yeah, hopefully, better luck next time. Well, unbelievably, after getting wiped out by the swans in the corner, I'd come back to my swim to start packing up the kit, and I'd looked out onto the spot that I had fished last night where I'd put the bait, and just noticed a few patches of fizzing coming up, and still had about half an hour left of my trip, so I quickly cast one rod onto the spot, and yeah, 20 minutes later, the rod has just absolutely ripped off, and it's got stuck out in the weed. But fortunately, I've managed to get him out. The guy was coming out on the boat. We don't know if it's definitely still on, but I'm presuming there's a good chance that it is if I can't even get the rig back in, do you know what I mean? To help free it. But as he was getting out to the fish, it spooked it out of the weed and it came out quite easily anyway, so he didn't actually need to get over to the fish. And yeah, managed to safely land him. He's not a big one, but he may be the biggest one of the trip. He looks around 20 pounds. But yeah, it just goes to show, you know, never give up until right to the death, because, you know, it's ended the session on a bit of a high. So yeah, I'm gonna get him out now and show you him, and then we're definitely getting out of here. can go home now.